So Facebook did its big one. Facebook messed me up, literally. And I'm going to share that with you and how it messed up my emotions this morning because I had something planned out to talk to you about. And then Facebook sent me, you know how they do the memory of years go back, and it went back to 2019 when I did my live camera action tour, and all of these emotions I started feeling. And I'm like, oh my gosh, that is not what I was going to talk to you guys about, but I kept feeling the heavy emotions. So I'm going to do for you today, I'm going to merge what I was planning on saying to you based on also the emotions that Facebook had me feeling. I'm going to merge that together in one because I think it goes together. And I hope this is a blessing for you because it's such a blessing for me too as well. Hey, it's your girl Sherry Summer Bell. Let's get into it. So today I want to talk to you about, and I got to give credit to one an awesome coach, Myron Golden, because he's the one who really brought the aha moment up for me today. And I want to share this with you. And I also sent it out to my email. I'm sending it out to my email list as well because I was sharing with them this morning. So when after this inspirational post from Facebook, and then I got this from, and then this morning Myron kind of took it over the edge for me. So I'm like, oh my God, this is going to be a really good day. I love really good days, right? Okay, so I want you to really think about the idea behind all of the investment you've made, all of the things that you've invested in. I wanted you to think about that idea because I want to talk about why your investment has not been working for you. I really want to help you. I want to make sure that you get back every money that you spend on anything that you invested in, right? Anything that you invested in, I'm going to show you how you can, in this episode, I'm going to show you how you can get a return on your investment in anything that you have invested in the past. So if you said that you invested in a course, if you say you've invested in conferences, if you say you've invested in creating a website, you've invested in a masterclass, you've invested in a challenge, you've invested in a training, and you're like, I'm not seeing the results that everybody else is seeing, this is for you. This is for you. So let's go back to Facebook and how this tie in. So when I was looking at 2019, I did a tour called Live Camera Profit. Yeah, I think it's called Live Camera Profit. And how I even got to do that tour, I invested in myself. And speaking of investment, let's go back to how this investment thing worked. So picture this, 2019, I am newly divorced. Right? My ex-husband is gone, my son's father. And then I decided, crazy me, which I wrote all of this down inside of my book called The Challenge Code, but here it is again. I I literally decided I'm going to take a leap of faith after my son got sick. So I took a leap of faith from his school. He got sick at school, and I said, "Hey, this is my time." I took FMLA leave, and I never went back to work. Okay, so that's crazy me. So now I got to figure out how to make money, right? So husband gone, no two income household, mortgage is still coming in, bills are still coming in, bills still piling up. So of course, I believe that when you're trying to arrive, when you're trying to figure out an answer to something, I believe that your frequency of how to figure out that thing, that you'll come across somewhere on a timeline, on Instagram's timeline or Facebook timeline, because that's what happened with me. In the space that I was in at that time, I started watching these coaches, and I met one of this specific coach, and she had a program where she was teaching you how to make 25K in 30 days. Now, baby, all I heard was 25K. I can't even tell you the rest in 30 days. So back then, I was like, is this possible? Because I've never seen someone look like me that ever done that before. So I'm like, is this possible? Can I do this? All of this stuff came to me. Let me be clear. It wasn't about can I do this, but is it possible for me too? So I'm like, hell, I mean, what else I got to lose? But here's the thing. The 25K comes with an investment of 2,500. So again, this is 2019. 25K came with a 25 investment of 2,500. So when that investment came, I'm like, oh, great. Got you. How am I going to pay for that? I already told you that your girl has hit rock bottom. Your girl, we there. We there. Okay. So I called my mom, and my mom is like, no, that's your crazy butt for leaving your 9 to 5, for leaving your job. So that didn't work. Then I was dating a gentleman, and he was like, I don't think I can help you with that. Okay, he didn't last long. Okay. Look at me now, boo. But anyway, so okay, shade. So 2,500. So I asked him, he said no, and for me to even go to a man to ask for something that I want, I would tell you, like, anyway, different story. Let's get back to the regular programming. So I asked him, I asked my mom. My mom is Jamaican and Chinese. She's like, no. She's like, you shouldn't have left your job. So it's like, okay, where am I going to get this money from? Well, when you leave your job, they give you a payout. So my payout for my sick leaves and holiday pay was the $2,500. Yeah. So I used the last money to my name. Disclaimer, I don't agree for you to do that. I 100% don't think you should do that. So don't follow me. Okay. This is why inside of my masterclass, how to speak to get people to say yes to you, I always say, hey, if you had 0 to 2,000, this framework that we're getting ready to show you, this thing is not for you, but here's a thing that is for you. Okay. That's why I do that. Okay. Carry on. So I was like, hey, you know what? I'm just going to take big risk. I'm just going to take this big risk. So I took the big risk, gave her the $2,500. I should have been going to the mortgage. I was already behind, right? But that's not what I did. Okay. So that was already behind. So I took the money. That was already behind, and then I paid her. So she started showing, it was a 12-week program. She started showing up and giving us the detail about what to do, how to launch her product, how to start a launch, how to finish a launch, what the launch sequences should have, and all this stuff. It was so big and robust. It was so big. It was like, whoo, it was overwhelming what your sales page needed to look like. It was so big. It was so robust. I couldn't feel like I could handle all of it. But guess what? I put my big girl's panties on. I kept saying to myself, it's only like that because I didn't know it. It's only like that because I did not know it. I don't know it yet. I kept telling myself that it's only like that because I don't know yet. It's just like a car. I would have to just learn how to drive, just like a bicycle, learn how to drive. And it was overwhelming. It was so many people in class, so many different people in the class. So the class ended, the coaching program ended, and I did not make my 25K. I did not. And what I did do in the process, though, I did say, hey, I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to go on a tour. I'm going to go to different places. Dallas. I went to Chicago. I went to Dallas, went to Chicago, went to Fort Lauderdale. So I was going on these live camera action tour, and I was using the launch sequence that she taught me how to launch. And I would go to these different places, and then I would pitch my offer. That's what I was doing. And I remember thinking to myself, like, I'm down to my last dime, like the flight, the hotel, the food. I'm down to my last itty gritty. Am I going to be able to even go to these places to make the money back? I did not know. I'm going to be honest with you. So I left the coaching program, did not make my 25K. So I could either say, man, this investment was a scam. She is a scam. I need to not work with her. She's not any good. And I could just put that out in the atmosphere, which is what most people do when things doesn't go their way. They start putting that negativity out in the atmosphere and start blaming other people for their actions that they do. We don't do that over here. So what I did is that I continue the launch, the action tour. Okay, live camera action tour. I continue that. So I continue that even though class was over. I continued. So as I continued on the tour stops that I was doing, there's a many, and I mean very many, 5 people, 10 people, 3 people, whatever. I continue on these tour stops. It's 2019. So and that's, like COVID is getting ready to kind of hit in that space or whatever. So anyway, so as I continue on these tour stops, back up, not 2019, 2017, excuse me. I want to make sure I'm correct, politically correct. So as I continue on this tour stop, I was like, my body's saying like, oh my God, this may not be working. Cause you go to first stop, sale, go to another stop, and you just paid for a flight. You just pay for hotel. You just pay for food. You just pay for all of this stuff. And you're like, oh my God, why did I do this to myself? Why did I do this? And but I kept going. I didn't never think in that space. I just kept going. And my last tour stop, which was in Fort Lauderdale, I made my 25K. I made back 25K plus my last final tour stop. You heard that right. I finally made back my 25K plus. Plus. Let's put that plus in there. Okay. What does this mean for you? Why did I tell you this long, drawn out story? I told you this story because I want you to understand. I want to encourage you that when you invest in yourself, you can't lose. Period. You cannot lose. No matter what the investment is, you just cannot lose. People will hurt you. Your spouse will hurt you. Strangers will hurt you. Your best friends will hurt you. All of this world, they will hurt you. I'm going to tell you that. But you know what will not hurt you is the investment that you put in yourself. That investment will stand beyond any time. So how did I, which should have been your same question, how was I able to pull that off? Now, that was between 2017 and 2019. I'm saying that because we had a review on Facebook, and it kind of reminds you what you did 7 years or 8 years ago. That's how it all came about. Now, was I able to do that? Let me break down the part B of what this video is all about. Now, many people hear that and get inspired and say, oh my God, this is something I want to do. Oh my goodness, Sherry, how did you do it? All this stuff. And I gave you the steps on how I do it. You can take it. You can run with it. You already got what you need. Now, there's some people that will succeed and there's some people that will not. And here's why. Here's what the people who will not succeed and why that happened. When you're hearing my strategy and when you're hearing what happened with me, the people who have a challenge in succeeding, the reason why they have a challenge in succeeding is because of their programming, right? So you have bought a course and you're thinking about, why is this course not working? Why can't I hear what Sherry said, go out there and do my own mini tour all around the world, and I get the result why can't I get the same result that she gets? I'm gonna tell you why. And I'm gonna tell you why. And the point I want to make here is your brain is and I just said this inside of my email list. I say your brain is an operation system. Think about it. So I got this from Myron Golden. I want to really share it with you. If you take a software like a Mac and try to run it onto a PC, what will happen? You get an error message. So you have a software that's a Mac and you have a PC, and you take the Mac software and put it onto the PC software. What will happen? You get an error message. There's necessarily nothing wrong with the software itself, but the problem is that the operation system underneath isn't programmed to run it. Get closer. Get closer. That's why people can copy your blueprint and can't get the same results. Because no one is paying attention to underneath. It isn't programmed to run it. And your business work the same way. You can take a strategy that's working beautiful for someone else, follow every steps, and still not get the same result because the strategy is being executed through the operation system, which is your brain. And your brain is operating from the belief you've programmed into it. So I just want to stop right there. So if you're wondering why in sales, marketing, I'm always talking about the brain. I'll even tease at you and say, hey, my husband called me the brain. And he probably went over your head because, and I'm going to read it again, because the strategy is being executed through your operation system, which is your brain. And your brain is operating from the beliefs you programmed into it. What do you believe about yourself? What do you believe about money? What do you believe that you're capable of? What do you believe will think when you become more visible. What you believe people would think when you become more visible. I want you to understand this. You can put $1 million strategy on top of an operating system program with I'm not good enough. No one's going to buy for me. I don't want to be judged. And eventually you're going to get an error message. That's why sometimes you don't need another strategy. You need to upgrade your operating system, because when you change what you believe, you change how you execute. Ooh. And now you're no longer creating from desperation, you're creating from overflow. So, your operating system is the thing that's running the show the whole time. What is that? Your brain. So you have to upgrade your operation system. That's what I have always said to you, that I can talk on the phone with somebody and literally tell me who I'm working with. I can have Zoom. I've been having Zoom calls since April. What are we in? By the time I'm recording this, we're in August 2026. And I will tell you this, the conversation, it only takes 5 seconds for me to talk with you to know what brain and operating system that you're operating from, right? And then I have 2 choices after that. Do I continue to listen and help navigate you to the right space? Or do I let you the way you fight for them limitations, I'll let you keep them. So I have 2 choices. And the God in me sometimes try my best to make you see it from a different perspective. But sometimes if is a rejection or objection, that's when I back off, which you should do the same too with your prospect. So I want to kind of get you to understand that if your content is not working, if your masterclass, it's your conversion to your masterclass, your challenges, your live event, if it's not working, it's not the strategy. It's the operating system that is operating it at that time. If you're programming your mindset, nobody want this, nobody's going to buy it, all of that stuff. If you already, that's an operating system. So when you try to get and do a talking head video to talk and tell me something, no one is hearing you. No one's hearing you, boo. No one. Because this system of where it came from, this place of where it came from, it's hard to get the thing back. It's hard to get results from that space. It's hard to get results from that space. So the superpower, the good news is you have a superpower. And a superpower that if your brain was trained to operate from that negative space, it can also be reprogrammed to operate from a higher frequency space. See how that works? So all is not lost. All is not lost. So that's a good thing. So if you're feeling like, listen, I have a goal, a financial goal that I want to meet, and you set that goal, the next step is not, okay, what do I do to get this? Like step, what do I do to get it? No. Stop. Wait a minute. You don't start with strategy. You start with state first. Your state of being. That's what you start with, your state of being. You never start with strategy. You start with a state of being. So, okay, so this is what I want to make, right? And what do I believe about that number? What when I put that number, my husband and I have some things that we're going to do. We're going to be flying overseas for a few days. And one of the things that we're thinking about when he said he's okay with going overseas with me, do you know, I remember saying like, hey, I don't even know how this marriage is going to work because I'm going to go overseas for a couple of days. That was back in 2022. I'm like, I don't know based on what I'm looking at if this is something I'll be comfortable with. And 2026 is like, oh yeah, I want to go overseas. All I did was plant the seed and left it alone. And now he's like, oh yeah, I would love to go overseas. I would love to go to an exotic island with you and so on. So we're planning on doing that. But here's the thing. I was questioning, can he handle that? When it first thought came to my mind. And so there's a reprogramming of his mind had to take place, right? And guess what? The environment that you put yourself in, that reprogramming the mind start happening. The environment. So I didn't have to be like, you better go. I want you to go. Or I'm going by myself. None of that. Just now he wants to go more than I want to. Crazy of that. Be careful with the superpower that you have. Be careful with the superpower that you have. You just got to know how to use it and leverage it. Anyway, I digress. So it's the same thing with you. If you're looking at, why am I not getting this goal? Why is it so slow? It just seems so slow. Check your state. Check your state. I know this is not the first time you hear me say this. I say this in the masterclass. I say it on my podcast. I say it on YouTube. Check your state. The brain, the operation system, which is your brain, is being is your outcome is directly connected with the execution through your operating system. It's directly connected to that. So because and knowing this, knowing that your brain is an operation system, and knowing that if it's out of mode, I want you to think about this too. How is your clients? How is the people that you serve? And how are they believing? How are they thinking? That's why I emphasize to you, when you have a strategy in place and you're trying to reach your people, you have to reach them from belief and not from how pretty or the features of your thing, because they too operating system is also out of whack. Now here's the thing. No fault to them. No fault to me. No fault to you. How do we get there? It's the external things of all around us. Social media, the news, CNN, Fox News, people talking to you who's never been anywhere, all of this stuff, all of the noise. That's how we got to where we have with the limiting belief. Let me tell you something. My son is 14 years old, and you cannot, I asked him, I said, hey, your birthday's coming up. What do you want? He's like, well, I just give me what he said? Yeah, just give me an e-bike and maybe just $400. For him to even say it with his chest like that, I'm like, when did I ever have the opportunity to come to my Jamaican Chinese mother and say to her, hey, I just need an e-bike and $400 for my birthday. We don't have to do any party. We don't have to do anything. At 13 years old at this time, I'm just trying to show you how his frequency vibrates so high. And here I am, I'm like, okay, as long as you don't use the e-bike to go to school. And he's like, I don't know about that. So we have to negotiate some things. But the idea wasn't, I don't know, Mom, just give me $10 or something. He called out the frequency of what he wants. And I learned so much from him, because I'm trying to help him cover that. I'm trying to help him to really keep thinking big in that manner. Well, where do you think that came from? That came from the experiences that I've exposed him to believe in that way. That came from the experiences, the places that my brother and I was talking about sports. And I think I mentioned this before. And my brother is telling me, and I was like, hey, well, how much do you pay for football? Because his sons do local sports, football in local area, and they're young kids. And he's like, yeah, we pay like $250 for the year, or for the season. And I'm like, oh, what? He's like, yeah. He says it's about $250. I said, does that include in the cleats and all that stuff that y'all have to get, and all the stuff? He's like, yeah, it's about $250. When he said that to me, I'm like, what planet am I on? Because for comp soccer, I'm up to $2,000. And I'm like, what? I told my son, I was like, I don't give you 13. You getting in football right now. It's probably a little bit too late for that now. But the idea here, sports is sports, right? No, different operation systems. Sports, you think sports is sports. No. Different operation system. No. And these guys, thank God for that, because they get a chance to go to the NFL, get the opportunity to dream big and go to the NFL. And this is also I digress here because I'm very sensitive here. This is why also I get on my son all the time, because the kids them who are we were out at a soccer field. What, somebody's going to see this from the game, but anyway, we're out at soccer field, and it was kind of humid out there, and the parents are like, "Hey, we need to get a tarp to get something to cover the kids because it was humid, and it was humid, and they were sweating. We want our kids to be as comfortable as possible." But when I watch my brother out there coaching these guys who are paying less because they want it so bad, they're up and they have practice every single week. And I'm watching, we complain if we have 3 practices, and we're paying more. Why? Because so it's not about working harder when it comes to attracting what you desire. We pay way more for soccer, right, than my brother does. But the hunger for success is more at the football level from what I have seen versus the soccer level. They're very timid, like, so how does one gets more and then the one get less? Because the frequency of how it's operated. One of the moms that was there in soccer, her son was the we were he's a goalie, and the ball was, they were kicking the ball into to him, and he was supposed to grab the ball with his gloves, and she's like, I paid $50 for those gloves. Man. And he goes to goalie practice and he goes to all of this stuff, and I'm like sitting there like, wow. So let me tell my mom that I need to go to whatever practice. It just and my son had a private coach. It just dawned on me that tell you that money has nothing to do with how hard you work. Money is directly tied to your belief system. It directly tied to your belief system, because there's nobody more hungry for a life and a better life than an inner city child who decided to do football. Nobody more hungry, more aggressive than somebody say, hey, this is going to get me out where I am. This is going to get me out the projects. This is going to get me out the trailer park. This is going to get me out of whatever. This is going to get me. And they're hungry, and they go out there and they do that thing, and they have practice every single day. And they know that their livelihood is on the line, even at a young age. They know that. And then here come my prima donna son. And that's why, if you saw my reel where he talks about his foot was hurting, I'm like, is it hurting or are you just uncomfortable? Baby, know the difference. Because even though mommy made your life comfortable, baby, we're not wimps around here. So I'm like, get back in that game. Get back in that game. But mommy, I'm tired. It's hot. It is hot. But you have 3 Gatorades, and we're going to get back in that game. I cannot because I design a comfortable life for him to take it for granted. Because when I hear my brother and what they got to go through, and making sure that the kids eat and all this stuff, and we sponsoring some of this stuff. And I don't play football, but I want to sponsor them to show love to them. You know what I'm saying? I don't even play my kids don't even play football, but I know the drive and the hunger these kids have, because it's planting in them that this is a way out. This is a way out of the hood, or this is the thing that was planted in their mind. Now, I want to digress this by saying this. I want to dissect this by saying this. I heard a gentleman say, and I could not unhear it. When somebody says something to me, I could not unhear it. He was like, our kids, I'm trying to give me a second. I'm getting it. Our kids in the inner city plays directly to get their way out of a better situation. But the urban kids, or the kids, they play to get the fundamentals. Team player, being there for your teammate, not giving up. Get the fundamentals out of the game. And when he said that, I had to sit for a second. And I was like, there go the brain operation right there. There go the brain operation right there. The idea is, it both part, and I get it, and it probably will never be this way, but the idea is, when he said that, I said, yeah, because I'm not training my son to be messy, but I'm training my son to build relationship and emotional availability, where it's okay for him to show his emotion in safe spaces. I'm the purpose of me putting him out there, and he, because again, he got tried for comps every year. It's a comp. So the purpose of me putting him out there every single time is not necessarily like, oh my God, he's going to be the next Messi after I done spent all this money in soccer for all these years. But the idea behind that is the fact of knowing that when he's done with this season of his life, this soccer season of his life, is knowing that he has developed the friendship, the relationship. He's emotionally intelligent, which he already are. Emotionally available. He's a team player. He know how to rally around a team. He know how to send a good text message saying, hey, John, I know they scored on you today, but you did a great job. I just want to tell you how great you did. He knows that. That's the fundamental. So because there's not a I got to get mommy out the project type of thing that's going on, he can relax and really put on a good show versus feel like at 16 he got to carry the house on his household. And I'm like, wow. So how do we get other kids to feel that way? So it's not and I know what it is, because they're literally trying to see a better place for their parents. And when I learned that we just have to operate from that space, operate from the space of, hey, can I get the fundamentals, the root of team building, the root of what playing a youth sport is all about? Can your brain becomes an operation system where we can see perspective like that, versus feeling like the world is about to end, that scarcity, that survival mode? Because that's what we're putting our kids in, in this space. That's what we're putting them in. And they're still getting the fundamental, but the pressure of it, fundamentals, is a little different. Now, that's an example of my son and his soccer, my brother and their football, but it's the same way in our business. I think sometimes when we get into this business space, we're in such survival mode that we don't have time for our nervous system to just balance out. So we take whatever we can take, and we eat what we kill, and it just so much of that happening that it is hard for our brain to see outside of that. So which is why your brain is operating from the belief you programming into. Operating from the belief system you programming into it. Don't forget the it. So we got to do a newer reprogramming of this so we can have a better outcome. A child who is operating from team building, sports building, be there for their teammates, and they still have the drive that they want to win because nobody want to lose, but they're not carrying their parents on their back to say, I never heard a child said he's playing soccer to make it out the hood. That just dawned on me. And we have all race play soccer, Mexican, Jamaicans, all race. But I've never heard. So we have been conditioned to believe hard get us more. And if you don't remember anything else I said in this video, I want you to remember this. Hard get us hard. Hard get us hard. But higher frequency, higher belief system, believing that everything is good, higher thinking, get us more. That's all I got for you today. It's your girl, Sherry Summer Bell. Thank you for tuning in. Make sure you hit the bell and subscribe. And I would love to hear your feedback on today's episode.